Come check this.
Good day everyone, my name is Deborah Obaruzoni. I'm from Group 17. My matric number is 180205125. Our topic is System Development and Procurement, and I'm going to talk about System Development Lifecycle.
My name is Itwa Rita from University of Lagos, Faculty of Management Science, Finance Department. I'm here to talk about software development
Hey
strategy.
everyone, my name is Afolabi Olamide, a student of the University of Lagos, Faculty of Management Sciences, Department of Finance. The topic that has been assigned to me is procurement. So I'm going to be explaining what procurement is, basically the types of procurement and then the steps that are needed to take when it comes to
My name is Arabia Anuduako from the Department of Finance. I'm representing Group 17 and today I'll be talking about comparing software development approaches.
System Development Lifecycle. System Development Lifecycle is basically the process that begins with planning and goes through several stages until its implementation. These stages include planning, analysis, design, development, testing, implementation, and maintenance. Planning in system development lifecycle is basically where the idea is brought to life. A feasibility study is conducted on the project to check its risk management, its competitive advantage, and its return on investment. Analysis. This is when the stakeholders will clearly define what the project is meant to do. They will talk about the features it will need and the functionalities it will need to function well. Design. This is when the team comes up with the architecture of the system. It takes into consideration the usability and how the end users interact with the system. It also takes into consideration people with disabilities. Development. In this stage, this is when developers start the project, building the functionalities and features, making the project live, basically testing. In this stage, after the project has been developed, it will go through series of tests to see if it is running as it is supposed to run. This is basically the stage where they oversee the smooth running of the development of the project. Implementation. This is when the project goes live. There are three different ways a project can be implemented: parallel implementation, phased implementation, and direct implementation. In the parallel implementation, employees use both the new and the old systems together. In the phased implementation, it is implemented in stages, while in the direct implementation, the old system is completely scrapped off while the employees use only the new system. The next step is maintenance. After the project has gone from the planning process to the implementation process where it is now live, it will also need to be maintained. This is where bugs are fixed, technical issues are resolved, new informations are uploaded if
Software development strategy. The system development lifecycle describes an orderly progression from planning to maintenance and eventual replacement with discrete steps in between. However, actual projects may deviate from a straightforward step-by-step approach using alternative development methods. The system development lifecycle aligns closely with the waterfall method. I'll be talking about the three major software development strategies. 1. The waterfall software development. In the waterfall method, the system development lifecycle task occurs sequentially, with one activity starting only after the previous one has been completed. The analysis phase nails down the requirements, and at that point, the developers estimate the time and resources needed to complete the project. Another software development strategy is the iterative method. The iterative method compresses the time horizon for the software development, partly to reduce the impact of fast-changing business needs focus on the time available until the next release, and the development team determines how many of the requirements can be delivered in that time frame. A common approach used in the iterative method that helps software developers bring an application to life more quickly is the rapid application development. Final software development strategy is the Agile method. The Agile software development method uses a less structured approach in which tasks are not sequenced according to the system development lifecycle. Instead, many activities occur simultaneously. An Agile team includes one or more business users dedicated to the project. The duration for development, called the time box, is quite short, often just 2 to 6 weeks. Many different varieties of the Agile method exist, but there are only 2 examples, which is the Scrum and the Extreme Programming. Scrum offers a framework for software development that relies on tightly knit cohesive teams that do sprints of 2 to 4 weeks each. The goal is to have a workable software with new features at the end of each sprint. Another example is the Extreme Programming. The Extreme Programming focuses on frequent releases of workable software and time boxes for development.
Procurement. Basically, procurement are the steps and the guidelines that are needed to be put in place before a company can purchase goods and services. There are companies that you need to get goods and services on a regular basis, but there are some steps that needed to be put in place, and then the guidelines that also must be followed before a company can purchase goods and services. There are basically 4 types of procurement, but I'm going to be deliberating on 2 today. So the first one is direct procurement, and then the other one is indirect procurement. What is direct procurement? Direct procurement involves buying of goods and services in order to make profit for the company. For example, when you get or purchase goods and services for a company, what you are buying, you are also using it to generate income, to generate profit for the company in the long run. How about indirect procurement? Indirect procurement is basically getting goods and services for the company based on their day-to-day running of activities. So you are getting goods and services, for the company because it is used for their day-to-day running of activities. That one is indirect procurement. Now, what are the steps that are required for procurement to take place? Number 1, you have to identify the needs of the business. Then number 2, after identifying the needs, you have to prioritize them to know the ones that are of utmost importance. And the next one, you have to submit a purchase request. The request is showing everything that you are purchasing. And then the next one, you have to submit a supplier using RFO. What is RFO? RFO simply means request for purpose. That means the purpose why you are requesting for this item. Then the next one, you have to negotiate pricing and then times of purchase. That means that you have to negotiate the item that you are purchasing. So these are the steps that are, all these items are 10. So these are the steps that are required for procurement to take place.
Comparing software development approaches. This explains why organizations choose one software development strategy over another for a particular project in the organizations. First, we talk about the type of project. First of all, choice of a project development approach depends heavily on the type of project. For example, an iterative approach will work well on projects in which the requirements will only be launched in discrete phases as released, while a waterfall method will work well when the requirements are clear, stable, and easy to define when in advance. Second is the organizational culture. This is also an important element in development approach. Moving to an agile development approach means more than just programming areas. After years of using the waterfall method, for instance, developers are inclined to resist changes or additions to the requirements to the analysis that has been done before. They see it as loads of work and they try to lock down the requirements through written documents, contracts, and user signage. But agile method developers are those who welcome changes in requirements because they understand that the ultimate goal is to develop software that users really want and not just to finish a project on time. Next, I'm going to be talking about the human element in system development and procurement. First is the cross-functional team. Cross-functional team members will try to describe how processes work and what requirements for a new system should be. But more most employees will only have a firm grasp on the part of process they deal with. They may find it challenging to design a system that can streamline the process from an end-to-end and satisfy all requirements from accounting, finance, marketing, and sales. Next is the role of senior managers. Senior managers play a key role in system development and procurement, one that should stress the strategic value of new information systems to the organization. They can inspire employees to work together and ensure the resources the project team needs are available. Next is working with consultants. Implementing a new system, a large one especially from a commercial vendor, often means engaging in consulting services to help configure, customize, and launch the software. The consultants might be employees of the software vendor, or they might work for a separate company that has an expertise in that software product and a history of successful implementations in other organizations. The consultants can take on many roles to help make the project a success.